Sickos Club.
Sickos Club.
Hey, come here. You like pro wrestling? We got a little something for you. Two fans, 3,000 miles away. We each been watching for more than 30 years. Celebrate the art form, the action, the homoeroticism. We ain't rating matches. We ain't analyzing stories. We ain't experts. We just sit down, shut up, and mark out! Hello, everybody. It is Blake Goddamn Daily, and I am back with yet another edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out. And I am very happy to tell you that I am rejoined by my co-host, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, the greatest Canadian pro wrestling podcaster in the history of pro wrestling podcasts. And that is the one, the only, Joshi G. Joshi, hello.
Hi, Blade. Thank you for that warm introduction.
I am so happy that you're here with us. You know, it's been a little, you've been away for a while.
I have been.
I think a lot of people probably assumed you were hanging out with Dawn and you were doing Callis family stuff. But there's actually more to it than that, isn't there?
Well, that's what I was assuming, that people probably thought I was living in the mansion with Uncle Don.
Yeah.
And that I was behind Mark Briscoe being attacked on Dynamite. Maybe I was.
I still have my questions about that. Yeah.
Or perhaps I was traveling the world drinking champagne with Muppet Monet. So I totally get it. There have been a lot of questions. Where has G been? So I am going to get a little bit personal here. So actually, I am currently pregnant and in my third trimester. And third trimester is not easy for all the ladies. Let me just say that.
No.
So I've been dealing with some pregnancy issues, like back pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, sleep issues, anxiety, of course. So I've kind of been all over the place. Had to stop working. So I guess you have to break a body to create a new one.
Yeah, I think that's how it works. Yeah.
That's the way I'm looking at it. So I had to take some breaks here and there to just rest and take care of myself. So there is going to be a Joshi B, as in Joshi baby.
Yes.
And yep. And so I should deliver in like 5 weeks. So time's just, coming up and kicking, and it's just freaking crazy. And so because of my pregnancy, I haven't been on the show as often. I would like to do a couple of more shows before I deliver. But at one point, I will have to take a break because the little Joshi B will be waking me up every 3 hours. So that's what's been going on with me, and that's where my future is. So, of course, I'm still going to be a part of Sit Down, Shut Up, and Mark Out. But there will be a break for sure, just because I need to spend a lot of time with my son. And then, I'll be back, and we'll figure out scheduling and all that. But in the meantime, I appreciate everyone that's come on the show and replaced me. So, like, Books and Bodyslam, Antoine, Raphael, Professor Degree, and many others. So I really appreciate that, and I thank you, and I thank my co-host iBlade for being very patient with me and for being so accommodating. The podcast obviously means a lot to me. It's just that right now I'm entering a new chapter in my life, and balancing everything out has been a little bit difficult, but I'm very happy to be here today.
Joshi, I'm just so thrilled for you and for Joshi J that you're, Joshi J, Joshi B, Joshi G, that you've made this podcast happen while you've been pregnant this entire time. Yeah. You and I were talking at the beginning of the year about all of this, and to watch you go through it all, to know what you've been dealing with and that you've made it happen for the people. you know this audience has been stopping me in the streets. I play daily. Where's Joshi G? And I've been like, hey, back off. That's parasocial and weird. But
yeah,
at the same time, here you are. So, yes, you'll be in, you'll be out, you'll make it when you can. But we're just 5 weeks away from big baby bomb being dropped. So I'm very excited for you. Seriously.
Thank you.
My bestie, my wrestie, my Joshi G. I mean, every word of it. I couldn't be happier. We need more good parents in this goddamn world. But just a little side piece of business. That doesn't look like a bald cap. Did you actually shave your head?
I did recently. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's in tribute to Dawn, I assume?
Well, obviously, I would like my son to take after Don Callis as much as possible.
So you want your son to be bald? Or?
Well, I figure that by working on myself, by looking more and more like Don, the chances of Joshi B looking more like Don will be more likely.
What does Joshi J think of that, like, as a strategy?
He seems to be supportive. We don't talk about it much.
Probably not, right?
Right, yeah.
I also noticed the scar that had, it seemed like it was almost fading a little bit, and now it's really pronounced. Is that a tattoo? Or?
Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I decided to get a pregnancy tattoo.
Of Don Callis' scar?
Of Don Callis' scar, yeah. Because I think that it adds another layer to me, and, I'm going to be a mom, and that scar symbolizes everything I'm going through right now.
In tribute to Uncle Don. I mean, is this, Joshi, I mean, we're friends. Is this for the inheritance? I mean, seriously, I'll edit this part.
For the inheritance?
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to stay in Don's will, et cetera.
It's not just the inheritance. I have a lot of respect for Uncle Don. He's a big part of my life,
Yeah, I sure do. Okay, well, very exciting. Very exciting. Joshi G is completely fucking bald now and has a tattoo of a scar on her face. So, congrats on the child and the tattoo and the shaved head.
Thank you.
But that's not everything. That's far from everything. In fact, last night, as we taped this, tomorrow, Friday, 2 days ago, as you listen to it, AEW put on what I consider to be top 3 all-time Dynamites this week. Absolutely insane. And here at Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out, we are nothing if not gigantic marks. And we had to have somebody on the scene to give us an in-person perspective, and we have brought her on the show, returning to the show, Books and Bodyslams. Books, how the hell are you?
I'm exhausted, but I'm very happy. Maybe not for my wifey turning into Don Callis, but for her big news.
Incredible, right?
Like, I mean, my just really tested my loyalty here with my hatred for Don.
Well, and Joshi, is that part of the reason? Is like you figure, like, if you look more like Don because you're likable, that it'll make Don more likable? Or
I definitely think that's a strong possibility. And, I know that wifey is struggling to like and accept Don. I know it's very difficult when somebody with that big of a heart and that reasonable and everything that he says just is on your television every week and stands out. And we're not used to having all these having good people in wrestling. I totally get it. So, so Books and Body Slam, she's a little bit skeptical. But wifey, I assure you that you will warm up to Don Callis. It's only a matter of time.
Not if he steals the bucks from Kenny.
Well, and that's...
Well...
Yikes. Wow. But I will say the Bucks are treating him with a lot of respect right now. And so
Are they, or are they messing with him?
Or maybe they're showing Kenny what he could have done. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if
He
you had
gave
treated
Don
him
many belts.
That's true. Okay, all right. Before we get bogged down, Don's the greatest, Don's the best. You know, Joshi G, you look great. I just want to specify you look amazing.
You do. It's making me like Don, so good job.
Well, that's what matters to me. Yeah.
Bald, pregnant lady vibes, and I respect it.
Thank you. It's a really unique look.
It
really is.
Oh my God. A great look. Unique. Okay. So another important announcement. I was wrong again. What a surprise. What a shock. What a mind-blowing experience. 2 weeks ago, Books, you were on this show with me.
I was.
And I was kind of pissed off. I was a little annoyed at the very least because I said, why did they announce a male Blood and Guts? They already had the female one. In my own defense, I did think that they, based on previous experience, when, like, for instance, they did have a male and female gauntlet match earlier in the year, and the women got a lot less time than the men did. However, I was just worried that this historic moment would be lost, and it turns out I was wrong. Absolutely, fundamentally, on every level wrong. And that's because, based on my previous experience with a certain place in New York, when they do equality, when they try to do stuff with equality, it usually means they put a lot of time into one and very little time into the other. One is good, one is terrible, and that's about it. So, that was not the case. Not the case at all.
Can you say that again, that you were wrong and I was right? I need to hear it.
I was incorrect. I was a little off in what I thought might happen. And thankfully, I'm not somebody who has really strong opinions and comes out swinging about things that haven't happened yet, thankfully, because that would have been really stupid, right? I'd look so dumb right now. But you said, since you were going to be there, that you were really excited about it. And I was just thinking in my head, you're going to see 2 Blood and Guts matches, like by the end of the last one, you're going to be out of steam. Were you out of steam?
No, I literally couldn't even fall asleep when I still had an hour and a half drive. So, when I got home, I was still pure adrenaline. Like, I was like I couldn't believe what I just witnessed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly don't even know how I have a voice right now because I was just screaming the entire night.
And we were, texting a bit in a group chat, and you revealed that the women were in fact not technically the main event.
No, yeah, I did. I got some insider information.
I could have been annoyed by that, but I wasn't, because I had said when you were here, something I was right about, by the way, was that if the women go first, it might be better because that way they get the fresh reactions to everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was true, although I think you could have put that match on basically after anything. Jesus Christ himself could have descended from the rafters on a cross, and the women could go after that, and that match still would have gotten a huge round of applause because this match was fucking amazing. Books.
It was insane. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I was given the insider information that they went first because they didn't want to risk TBS cutting them off.
Right.
The men could get cut off, but not the women. And
right.
You know what? I've given AEW and Tony Khan a lot of shit for their women's division.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually really appreciate them using their brains.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that there was going to be a runoff on top of already going over 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Having more of a runoff.
Yeah. And you were kind of kind enough to let me know that we wouldn't be seeing Ric Flair either. And that was before the show even started.
I thought that was a spoiler everyone would like.
Well, and once again, I mean, I think like for me, I liked it personally just because I'm not even going to have to hear about that. You know, like that's not even going to be diluting the reception to all of this. And so that was welcome news for me. You know, I am a Ric Flair, the wrestler fan. I am not a Richard Fleer, the man fan. And so I had no special desire. I understood why they booked him because it's in Charlotte. It's in the arena that he wrestled so many of his greatest matches in. And Steamboat, also, you know, another bona fide star of the Crockett era. And so it made sense to me why, what Tony's thought process was. He did come out, correct? He did come out before the show?
He came out, Tony came out, you know, about 10 after the Ring of Honor matches, brought out Ric Flair. He's like spoke for like, I don't even think it was out for more than 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They both went into the back.
Gave him a little hand wave and was on his way. Well, books, I was wrong.
You were. It's all right, though. You know what? I think everyone's fear was valid because they've had a lot of issues with the women. I think I was just choosing to err on optimism because I was going to be there. So,
well, I mean, 100%, and I would be too. I mean, if I was going to be there, I would have been pretty stoked.
And obviously, as Tony Khan's lover, we've had many words about this. So,
that's true. You are Tony Khan's lover, just like Joshi G is Dawn's niece, and so every bit as valid as those two things are. You probably had a lot of inside scoops.
I did, you know.
I have no problem saying this is one of the greatest Dynamites ever. It didn't just exceed my expectations. It danced circles around my expectations. It was absolutely insane. There was no let up at all. It was a 2.5 hour with an overrun still. It was a 2.5 hour adrenaline rush. The entire thing, there was no let up. What was the vibe like inside the arena before the show?
Before the show, I think everyone was just excited. Like, I just say, like I was sitting near, like there were like kids around us and stuff, and just I think they were more excited. So for everyone who says, "What about the kids?" Yeah, they were chanting for blood.
Bloodthirsty youth of America.
They were. There was a kid dressed as Darby, and I was like, "You ready?" He goes, "I want to see Darby get thrown." Like,
well, he had his wish fulfilled. That is for goddamn sure. Oh my God.
Yes. The crowd was like really, really excited. And I hope they came across on TV because it was loud.
Oh no, it did.
When we knew it was at commercial break, people were like quiet because like we were able to pinpoint very quickly because at least on our end, the blood and gut countdown stopped. So we were able to guess, okay, we're at commercial break because it's now been like 5 minutes since the 10 countdown started. We're like, yeah, we're at commercial break.
Well, the thing was for us at home, what they very smartly did for this one, they didn't say every 2 minutes somebody will come in. They just said every few minutes.
Oh, okay.
That was really smart because a lot of times, you know, I'm not sure if they did it in AEW, but in War Games matches in the past, the timer would be right on the screen. So if things were kind of coming to a lull in the ring, you had to wait for that timer, right? Because everybody can see it. So you couldn't work the time. And so they just said, fuck the timer. It was never on TV. And so the only thing they committed to was that the first two people in the ring would be in there for 5 minutes. One other thing I wanted to ask, because you saw it with your own two eyes, is what is that cage like in person, like to look at?
It was huge. And you don't realize how slowly it comes down. It rises back up very quickly, but it goes down so slowly because it's massive. It was absolutely massive. Especially because I don't even think the rings are that big themselves in person. So the cage was just like...
Yeah, you didn't hear that. You don't hear people saying, oh, they're using small rings. for blood and guts.
Well, because there's two of them. So
there's two of them. Yeah. Yes. And we had a mutual friend who was very determined that AEW needed to use both rings for the match that wasn't a blood and guts match. Like, why don't these idiots ever use two rings? And they did. And he was very excited. Yes. So we will get into all of that. We're going to talk about the incredible women's blood and guts match and the men's blood and guts match, which was also incredible, when we come back. All right, we're back, ladies. I feel like you two should lead this conversation because we were witness to what I feel is the best blood and guts AEW has produced so far. And it was the women's blood and guts. What was it like, Books, to be in the arena and have that moment?
I'm going to tear up again. So, when Justin Roberts started announcing, like, and you see the cage, like, slowly coming down as he's announcing it, that this is the first, women's blood and guts, I couldn't help but, like, start to tear up. And you could just feel this energy in the crowd that they were just like, let's fucking go. Like, like everyone around me was losing their mind. It was such a vibe. Like, because we all knew what was about to happen. And it happened. And I think I said to you earlier, I said, I didn't know. So I was at the first Grand Slam, the 2021 Grand Slam in New York City with arguably one of AEW's best matches, Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
And this blood and guts topped that. And I can't believe I'm saying that. And it was because of the women.
I think this match will be like one of my matches of the year, like for real.
Mm-hmm. It might be.
It was so great. I mean, just where they made this match feel special in its own way. And they still had another great blood and guts match later in the night that was still great, but was totally different. Joshi, you've been waiting for this forever.
I have been. And finally, Jamie Hayter proposed that they have a blood and guts match. And it was just so great to hear. And it finally happened. So I think there's like different things to take into account leading up to this match. First off, 2 of the initial participants got injured and had to be replaced. Mm-hmm. So of course you wondered, so now Mina and Marina Shafir, they're replacing Queen Amanada and Penelope Ford. Is that going to change the dynamic of the match in any way? And secondly, we've seen blood and guts matches before, so you would wonder, what can the woman do differently? How can the woman make this feel special, like their own thing? And watching this match, they really turned it into their own kind of match. Like, this did not feel like any of the men's blood and guts matches. So many moments stood out. I mean, when you look at Mercedes Moné, for example, taking all of her belts, bringing them into the cage, and she's handing them to her team members, and she's like, okay, yeah, use them like that. We've never seen something like that before. Like, that was just so creative. She's using all her belts as weapons.
I will say it took us a while in the crowd that were not sitting right in front of the ring. So I was more in front of the second ring. And to figure out what she was doing. And then when we saw it on the screen, we were like, holy shit. North Carolina loves Mercedes. Like,
oh yeah,
she was getting cheered so hard in North Carolina, and it made my little CEO loving butt so happy.
Well, she's definitely one of the best wrestlers in AEW, period. I mean, as soon as she came out, I feel the match got better, and the match was already really good. But Mercedes is just such a high flyer at times, and she has a lot of experience in these type of risky matches. So her veteran experience came in really handy. And also other moments, the way Tekla and Julia got out of the cages. I've never seen that before. And that didn't even occur to me. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? These sneaky two ladies over here. Like, like the men essentially aren't, small enough to do that.
Right.
So again, that's something else that the women were able to do that you're not going to see the men do, which I thought was really freaking cool. And then you had the spot with the mirror, right? Where like Toni Storm, she's basically like, she puts the mirror on Marina Shafir. You see Marina Shafir's, reflection. And essentially Toni Storm is the one that gets hit with the mirror and it, breaks all over her. But that too, I've never seen that in a Bloods and Guts match. There's just so much to talk about. I mean, even one thing about Toni Storm that I will say, you want somebody to give you a very dramatic moment in a match. It's her. She is the best at that. Like at the end of the match, when Triangle of Madness, they're holding Toni back. And Megan Bain is just whipping Mina over and over again with one of the titles. I don't even know which one it was because there were so many. You just felt Toni Storm's pain. There is nobody else that does it as well as her. And like, if we were in that situation, wifey, I would have done the same for you. I would have totally 100%. Surrendered.
Me too. The crowd was silent because like you could just feel Toni's anguish. Like I think everyone was just like, you felt it. Like she's so good at like projecting her feelings onto the audience, so you feel it. I will say my favorite part is Mercedes when Mercedes kissed Toni.
That was funny.
That was awesome.
That was funny.
That is a fun callback because again, to me, I never thought I'd see Mercedes in this type of match.
Me neither.
Like Sasha Banks would never have been in that match.
I was actually really surprised that Mercedes and Statlander were in this match, considering they have a huge match next weekend.
Yeah.
I did not expect them to be in it. And, I do feel they were very well protected. And the whole table spot was done to keep them out of the match for a reason. Like, they didn't want them to risk getting injured. And that was very, very smart because although they weren't active throughout the whole, 52 minutes or whatever it was, what they did do was still a lot and so significant to that match. And just like so many awesome things. I mean, Sky Blue was the MVP of that match. My gosh, bump after bump after bump.
When she came out first, the whole crowd lost their mind because they were like, and the way she just sat in that ring ready to go was, I was like, girl, this is your moment.
And she looked so happy.
You shine.
She looked so, like, the only thing that she was struggling with was trying to keep the smile off her face when she was supposed to be selling, because this girl has dreamed of this moment, and it was so clear just watching the match. Like, I could not know her at all and just know that this was like one of her dreams come true. Also, Willow was very similar, where it was like those two being the first. Like, Willow, you could just see her getting so fucking excited when they started. But Sky literally started bleeding like 2 minutes into the match. And then it's a 52-minute match. So she was sitting there bleeding a Muda scale type blade job for 50 fucking minutes. And she never stopped going. Like, she was just going the whole time. I cannot say enough good things about Sky Blue after this match. She was absolutely fantastic.
There was also someone else, and I'm going to give her a lot of credit because with this particular wrestler, I've been very hot and cold, and that's Marina Shafir. There are moments where I think she's great. There are moments where I'm like, I don't know about her. This match made her look really freaking good. I have to say.
Especially when she took her shoes off.
When she took her shoes off. Yeah, that was, oh my God. And she stepped in the glass, and then she stepped on, was it Toni or Marina?
It was Mina.
It was Mina, right?
Yeah.
She won the match for her team, which was really cool. And she came out last, actually, which was also very neat. So I just thought like obviously it's a shame that Penelope Ford is injured. That really sucks. But I try to look at the positive side of things, and I really think it's great that Marina is doing her own thing outside of Death Riders, because I wasn't sure how she would do without them, to be honest. Like, she's always just been with Mox and the guys, and to see her with the ladies, and to see how well she works with them, it really gives me a lot. It makes me believe in her a lot more now. I think she needed this. It's just, you can only do the whole bodyguard for guys for so long, Like, even they did that with China and WWF. At some point, you had to have China do her own thing too. You don't just want a woman to be there for the guys, right? So, yeah, props to Marina. Like, I think she's great. Like, matches like that are a really good fit for her.
Absolutely. Well, and they picked so many other great spots for other people too. So, like, I think Marina is like the person who got over the most in the match in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I would also say, Tekla just continued to look like a total menace. And, somebody in our group chat said, Tekla is the most intimidating 5'1" person ever.
She is.
She's insanely brazen. Jamie Hayter bumped like a fucking maniac in this match. She made so much of the focus other people, and she was so giving in this match. I really couldn't believe it when she got thrown down those stairs after she had taken that kind of like, it definitely looked like a chair shot that went a bit awry when Megan Bain threw the chair. She was covered with a trash can lid, and it looked like it caught her funny. And it just looked like it slipped out of Megan's hand or something. But man, that looked dangerous. Megan Bain, we expect huge things from Megan. So when she does huge things, sometimes it doesn't maybe always translate. And so she wasn't the standout in this match, but she looked amazing and she bladed deep.
Oh, yeah.
When Megan finally started gushing, like for a long time, Sky was the only person bleeding. But when it was Megan's turn to bleed, man, she bled. And it was cool that they got Aminata and Penelope Ford involved. And that was really cool.
Yeah, they all stood out. They all did their own thing. Extremely memorable match. I wasn't too sure how I felt about them going first, but I do think it was the right decision because they really did stand out. And to be honest, I did like the men's blood and guts match, but I don't know if I would have enjoyed the women's as much as the men's if it would have been reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was tired. Like, it was still very good, but at that point I was just like, oh my God. It's like another hour match,
I will say in person, the women's match set like the vibe for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the crowd, especially after how good that match was just like everyone was so full of adrenaline that literally I think it could have been like an hour and a half promo and the crowd would have been into it the whole time because it was just like everyone was on a high.
I do have a question for you, Books and Body Slams. How did the audience react to Muppet Monet?
They loved it. And I did not react fast enough because I wanted to get a picture for you. And I was like, oh my God, where's my phone? I was still distracted by Harley Cameron being dressed as Tifa.
Yeah. That was
like,
great.
Wait, she's Tifa. I go like, is she Tifa?
It was... so everybody got a moment in the match where they got to kind of feel like special. And what I loved, the Harley spot with the Muppet was so fucking funny and so true to Harley. When she is using the Muppet and then Mercedes rips it off her hand and then she's got a pair of brass knucks on underneath. And then she decks Mercedes with the knucks. That ruled.
It did.
The crowd lost their shit.
Yes. And another moment we do got to mention is Mercedes' entrance when she came out and took a sip of champagne before she went in the ring. Fucking
She's
awesome.
I missed that. Awesome. I was too busy dancing.
Oh, yeah. I assume it would have been hard to see from where you were. But also, so Stat comes in the ring wearing her title and just beating ass with her title on. And then she eventually hits like a moonsault or something on somebody while wearing the belt. And then she finally takes it off. Stat chasing Mercedes up the scaffolding. Mercedes gives chase. Then she gets stuck in the scaffolding.
Oh, yeah.
And then they fall from the scaffolding through the table that was just conveniently there. But like you said, Joshi, to keep them both safe so that they might be the main event of Full Gear for all we know. And I would have absolutely no problem with that.
I did see someone say Mercedes is the first woman to main event an AEW pay-per-view. So I don't know if they messed something up and said something before they were supposed to. But I did see someone say that online.
I think them announcing the match first out of all the matches, they literally announced it at Wrestle Dream, So yeah. I think that there is something to that. That match,
so.
They might main event. I mean, I don't know that to be true, but it certainly seems possible. Samoa Joe and Hangman becoming a cage match, that might main event. I'm not sure, but anybody have it? Oh, the last person I did want to shout out real quick was Mina. She was kind of maybe the lowest key person in this match because her and Tony really haven't appeared as a tag team yet much. And the way that they had her lose that match made her look so fucking tough. She's literally she's in the mother's milk hold, getting the belt just slapped across her back over and over again. She won't fucking tap. And Tony looked badass because she's like, no, she can take this. She could take this. She's strong. And finally, she just had to because she was basically unconscious as it was, So everybody looked so fucking tough after this match. I loved it. I just loved it.
I have my new pick for the women's tag team champions. I think they kind of set it up.
Well, that was actually going to be my question to both of you. Did they plant the seeds for the AEW Women's Tag Title Tournament? Is it going to be Marina and Megan Bayne versus Tony and Nina?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
That's what Mr. Books and I talked about on the way home.
That's
Nina
my impression
and
too.
Tony are 100% going to be the first champions. And
might I posit, and I'm famously wrong about everything, so let's just keep that in mind. Do you think Tony getting hit with the mirror in the 7 years of bad luck was symbolic on any level?
Oh,
good question.
Because Marina's the one who threw it in her face, right?
But then wouldn't it be Marina with the 7 years bad luck?
Well, but Tony's the one it broke on. Tony's technically the one who broke it.
But Marina's the one who broke it. In the world of karma.
I think it could go either way, but I do think one of those two teams will win the tournament for sure. And Bane and Marina are fucking unstoppable right now. I mean, they just look like fucking monsters. So you have Tony who wants righteous vengeance, right? And so maybe they lean that direction. But you also have that symbolic, Tony Storm going to crash out big time after that mirror spot? So I don't know, but I think it could go either way. In my opinion, like I said, I think this is the best blood and guts match they've ever done. It was fantastic top to bottom. Feel terrible for Penelope and Aminata that they didn't get to be part of it, but they made the replacements feel super meaningful. And I think they've set them. The interweaving of the stories was so good. Just seeing, and props also as well to Mercedes and Tony being 1 and 2 in the PWI Women's 250. Them being in the match when it was announced, I was like, why the hell would they be in the match? But then when Mina ended up being the replacement for Aminata, it's like, okay, well, at least Tony makes more sense. And then, they had no trouble at all making Stat and Mercedes fit in the match. Expertly laid out, as well laid out as any of these matches I've ever seen. So we're going to take a little breather, and when we come back, the come down match, the cool down match, if you will. Ladies, how the fuck is this a cool down match? I'm like, that makes so much sense. They're going to do a false count anywhere match. And that way they'll be able to stay out of the ring so that they can clean everything up. And, you know, these two will have a fun match, but, you know, everybody will kind of catch their breath.
No.
I was very wrong about that. This was not a cool down match at all. The AEW Men's World Champion, Hangman Adam Page, versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Oh, shit. Somebody brought it up. Like, this might be one of the best Falls Count Anywhere matches ever. And I completely agree. It was that good. And it made Hobbs look like a fucking monster. Joshi.
Yes.
I didn't expect a match like that after a Blood and Guts match, but I loved it. I thought they did a lot of crazy things. Hobbs doing the world's strong slam on the apron, and then the announce table, then off the stairs to the floor was freaking crazy. I mean, he dominated most of the match.
He did. He looked like he was murdering Hangman, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he did. And also, I did find it kind of funny when they were like trying to get through the crowd at one point. Like, they went up the stairs and were trying to get through people, and there was this like lady that was just like super freaking excited and didn't really seem like she wanted to move. And she's just all like, oh my God. Yeah, I was like, lady, they need to pass by. Like, what are you doing? I thought that was really funny. And she was like kind of older. So yeah, it was just somebody that has loved wrestling all her life. But yeah, I love that, like, just like fighting through the crowd to the balcony. And Hobbs almost threw Hangman over the balcony.
Right.
And what was so cool was when Hangman, he walks back and then he runs towards freaking Hobbs and he clotheslines Hobbs off the balcony through a ton of like fake gear, whatever it was. That was so freaking dope. So, I mean, like, there were a lot of big moments in this match. I just did not expect it to be that crazy because of what we had just witnessed. But yeah, like, I agree with you. Like, Hobbs is awesome. And Hangman is the champion that we deserve right now. For sure.
100%. 100%. Hangman is the fucking man. He just doesn't do anything half-assed at all. This guy is just fucking 0 to 700 every single time. I knew he would bump his ass off, but he wasn't the only one. Hobbs bumped his ass off in this match. He dominated, but when it was time for him to take some damage, he took some crazy bumps. So Hanger had him, was positioned for like a power bomb off the table. I thought he was is he going to power bomb him on the railing? Is he going to power bomb? Like, after I had seen the world's strongest slam off the stairs onto the fucking floor, I was like, anything is possible at this point, right? Again, smart layout, right? And then Hangman backdrops Hobbs off the table, and Hobbs almost over-rotates. He bounced off the floor. A man that size bounced off the floor. Fucking crazy. Books, how was it live?
Insane. I did not have words for it, especially when Hangman knocked Hobbs over, because that, I don't think any of us were expecting, like, pyro. So everyone was like, what? Like, the vibe after that was, what the fuck did we just witness? Like, Hobbs looked like a beast after that, and holy, like, fuck. And then the aftermath, when the cage came back down and Hangman was being attacked. Like, this entire episode of Dynamite left me speechless because I don't even think I fully processed anything I've watched yet.
If you go back and you found the best episode of Monday Night Raw and the best episode of Monday Nitro, and you combined them and forced them to have a child together, it would be this episode of AEW Dynamite. Like, it's And it wasn't just problematic as fuck. Like, it was just awesome.
Yeah.
Start to finish. Like, every time I didn't think this could go any further, it just kept going. It just kept going further.
They somehow did a good job at making it so us as the audience were never bored.
And so after the match, after Hangman manages to get this insane victory over Hobbs, Shibata comes out. It starts beating that ass, right? I mean, look, I love my boy as a dickhead, okay? Like, Shibata is a dickhead. That's why we love him, okay? Watch New Japan Shibata. Watch Noah Shibata. He's a prick, okay? Who kills people. That's what he does. And so he comes out, he starts laying some ass whooping, and he drags Hangman back to the ring. Poor fucking Hangman has just been put through goddamn hell. He's got to wrestle next weekend in one of the main events, okay? And then Joe comes out, and Joe, I'm loving unhinged heel Joe. Like, he's so much fun. And him with the big eyes and, like, the big reactions to everything is so much fun. What I thought was hilarious is he runs, he gets in the ring, and he just goes, bring the cage down. And the guy, like, are you going to say no to Joe? The guy brings the cage down, right? And that was such a smart way to get the cage back down, right? And then finally, Hook and Eddie Kingston make the save. They get Hanger out of there, and then Hangman goes, Joe, if you want a cage, we can do that, motherfucker. All right? Leave Shibata behind. Leave Hobbs in the hospital. That was a great line. We're going to have a cage match at Full Gear. So that was the stipulation I think they really needed to, like, not just make it a rematch. You know what I mean? Like, really put it over the top. That this is a different thing than what you got at Wrestle Dream. Awesome.
Hi, Blade, you forgot something. Dumbass.
Oh, that's right. If you wanted a cage, all you had to do was ask, dumbass.
Dumbass. The crowd. Again, I don't know how it came across on TV because I have not watched it yet. Like, I wanted to keep the live fresh in my head. The crowd lost their shit. Like, everyone was either screaming or laughing, and then when they said the cage, like, if you wanted to, like, the cage match was announced, it was just like, holy shit! Like, how can I get to Full Gear? Is my question now, because I want to go. So good job, AEW.
There you go. You should, yeah.
It's been really interesting because I will say, and I think, you know, Joshi, we talked a little bit about this, you know, since, like, All In, everything's been good. It's been very good. It's just the story beats haven't felt maybe as, like, insanely impactful in certain directions. Like, Hangman's just taking people on, you know? When they started the thing with Joe, I was like, that really felt like a Hail Mary because they were out of people to put against Hangman. And they've made this mean so much. But last night was like AEW's molten hot all over again. How do you even fucking do that twice in a year? Where you climax all of your biggest stories in one night, and then there's like a breath, a couple months where we can catch our breath. There's still lots of great shit happening, but it's not that white hot molten thing. Last night, AEW feels molten hot to me again. Because not only were these incredible matches, the stories are just insane. And the way Blood and Guts made these stories line up together again was insane. Joshi, do you agree?
Yeah, no, I definitely do agree. I think that, as you said, for a couple of months there, not that AEW wasn't good or anything like that. It's just that we have to keep in mind that some really big players have been missing from the show. And AEW has relied on them heavily. So just a couple of names, you know, you've got Swerve Strickland. Clearly, I miss him and Prince Nana a lot. I'm not going to lie. But he's coming back really soon. So that's excellent news. We've got Ospreay, who was a huge deal in 2025. He's not going to be back for a while, unfortunately. You've got Kenny Omega, who is now a part-time wrestler. So that's kind of an adjustment too, when you're used to seeing Kenny on a more regular basis, and now it's like, okay, he's only showing up once a month. You know, it is quite a change. And of course, you have MJF, who has been missing. And MJF does add another layer to the show. I mean, I know some people don't like him, but I personally love MJF. And he's that ultimate heel, and he's been missing. And of course, you have Jay White. Mm-hmm. He's also been missing. So it's like, I've named what, like 5 guys?
Yeah. And Copeland and Christian.
And right, yes. And Copeland and Christian.
Adam Cole.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're missing some really big names. So for sure, it just seemed like they were just trying to figure things out for a while. Mm-hmm. But that's why I think Blood and Guts was really needed. They just needed to, you know, to re-energize those batteries and come back full circle. And as I said, the good news is that Swerve and Jay White are expected to come back really soon. And so is MJF, actually. That's what I read today. Yep. So that's all very, very positive. So, yeah, I definitely, after last night's show, I definitely felt a lot better about what's going to come. And again, not that I didn't like what was happening. I did. It's just, you know, when you're so used to certain people being on TV and these people you just love so much, like Swerve, of course, and he's not there now. You don't have Prince Nana doing this cute little dance. It does take something away, right?
Sure.
But yeah, no, I completely agree with you, iBlade. I thought it really did bring me back to the energy that I felt a few months ago.
Yeah. We're and you know, so you've laid out what would be like literally like promotion ending kind of problems at any other time. This is where you really appreciate the depth of AEW. And another thing you have to do when you have that many of your top baby faces out is create another one. And last night they started that process. We're going to talk about all about who that was when we come back. All right. Well, you know, we were talking about creating...
Kayate, iBlade, I have something very important to say.
All right.
I would just like to take this moment to thank Tony Khan for finding a way to feature Uncle Don Callis on last night's Dynamite. He wasn't even scheduled to be a part of the Blood and Guts matches, but Tony still found a way to put him on television. And I think that speaks volumes of how important Don is to AEW. I was very happy to see him. And Bucks, decision time.
We got to talk about that now. So they come backstage, you know, before the men's Blood and Guts, which we're about to get into. They show that there's a brawl happening out in back with essentially Jurassic Express versus the entire Don Callis family on some level or another, right? Minus Takeshita, minus Okada. But Lance Archer's out there. Rocky's out there. You know, people whooping that ass on Jurassic Express. And then the Bucks walk out of this trailer that they're fighting in front of, and they're not looking around like they want to jump in or like they're that horrified by it either. They're very neutral. Do not underestimate the acting prowess of one Matt Jackson. He is incredible. And so Don then follows them out of the trailer, and he's like, look at this, you guys are going to fight him next week. And, like we don't take kindly to traitors over here, like even Kenny Omega. And he's kind of like implying that, because the Bucks are teaming with, who are they teaming with next week? Oh, with Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
Oh, and Josh actually did a bunch of yelling in this scene, like, this is what we do to traitors. And you know what? I'm enjoying Josh on the mic. He's getting a lot better.
Me too. Yeah.
And so Okada's been trying to sway the Bucks to join the Don Callis family for a while now. And he comes out and the Bucks are looking kind of dismayed, but kind of like whatever. And Okada like points, at Jurassic Express. And then he goes, next week, decision time. And he like pats them on the chest like he's excited because he thinks they're going to join, you know. But the comedic timing of all these people is just fucking awesome. It's so good.
I can tell you this, the crowd was not happy to see Uncle Don on screen. And the crowd does not want the Bucks to join the Don Callis family.
Well, that's,
and it's not because I paid the crowd to agree with me.
Yeah.
Or did I?
I don't know about that, Books. I heard a lot of thank you, Don chants, so.
I don't know what you're hearing.
I heard thank you, Don chants. Everybody was happy to see him.
Well, and there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there about Don. Like that he's evil and that he's like this corrupting influence.
Exactly.
And,
it's all AI.
Yeah, it's AI. That's what it is. And we all love Kenny, right? So like it was really hard to see Kenny be so disrespectful to Don and then Don have to take some action about it. Screwdriver to the head, you know?
I mean, let's be real here. I mean, Don ended up with that nasty scar because he was trying to protect Kenny Omega.
Yeah. And how'd Kenny repay him? By trying to beat up the guy in a cage that gave Don the scar, sure. But was he getting the job done? No.
I mean, that's the thing. What do you expect Uncle Don to do?
Kenny just told me he's disappointed in all of you. And this is why he's part-time.
Oh, you're talking to him right now?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah. All right. So decision time.
If they join, I'm going to throw out all my bucks. I have 50-something, 60-something shirts right there. I got 30 of them are Young Bucks. They will be thrown in the garbage.
Lies. You will never do such a thing.
Oh, you can't damage treasure like that. Also, exactly. Your best friends on social media, All Elite Wrestling and the Young Bucks. All right, a little inside baseball there. Books has a very good friendship with the Bucks on social media. They recognize her as a top fan.
We did have an agreement that if they brought back BTE, I would support them. And the next week, BTE was back.
That is true. The timing of that was stunning.
Very telling. Yeah.
It was very stunning. And this is why this is why we have Books on the show, is because she has powers that we don't fully understand, but they do tend to happen.
I don't understand either.
The only failing of Books at all is just simply not being able to recognize the Kenny Omega dissed Don. And so corrective action needed to be taken for the ensuing 3 years after. That's all.
Yeah, and she'll get there.
She'll get there, yeah. I see her getting there right now.
Yeah, me too.
So, I also, Joshi, just so you know, I heard the thank you, Don chants loud and clear.
Of course you did. Come on.
So,
how can you
I knew I should have videoed it.
Yeah. So, you guys, you were in the arena. You might have been around a lot of people who were booing, but most of that arena was like, thank you, Don.
Like 50%. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Small fractional number. So anyway, we've seen Hangman Page murder William Hobbs. We've seen the women murder each other.
We forgot about...
Did we forget? Or was I just about to say Richard Blood Steamboat
was also almost murdered.
Was called to the ring. The threat of murder was omnipresent on this show. I mean, there was nobody safe from the potential of death.
It's true.
I thought he was going to take a bump, and I was scared.
Yeah.
Can I have a side note for a second?
Yes.
The kid sitting behind me was two like young 20-something-year-old boys, men, I guess, like they're men. Mm-hmm. One of them, this was his first ever wrestling show, and he goes, "Is this show just murder?"
Oh my gosh, I don't blame him for asking that question. It definitely seemed that way.
Yeah.
Who's gonna actually live? I mean, geez.
Yeah, it was almost like, it was like watching Battle Royale. You know, it's just like everybody's gonna get killed at some point.
And I turned around, and I really try hard not to like interject myself into conversations. I said, "Welcome to All Elite Crimes."
Yeah.
Seriously.
This show could have been called Blood and Guts, or it could have just been called Crimes. And
yeah, murder.
It was all fitting. It was all fitting.
And at one point, an actual cop walked in through one of the entrances. And I was like, nope,
No.
we're taking all Lee crimes too far.
Yeah.
There's a cop here.
The cops can't even stop the crimes, let's be
God
honest.
damn it, Levesque is paying off the cops now.
What are they going to do?
So, all-time legend Richard Steamboat comes to the ring, and he cuts this kind of, Ricky's 73 years old, and he's a legend in Charlotte. For God's sake, the man is one of my all-time favorites. I love Ricky Steamboat. I've seen a million Ricky Steamboat matches, but he was never really known as a promo guy. So he comes to the ring, and he's kind of going on, and I think he's going to introduce Flair. I'm like, maybe Book's got it wrong. Maybe Flair is going to come out. And then I was like, oh, wait. Something's going to happen to him. And then FTR's music hits right as I'm having that realization, and I'm like, no. And FTR comes to the ring with Stokely, and they talk about their personal relationship with Ricky Steamboat, which is not surprising. It's not surprising to me that Ricky Steamboat and FTR have crossed paths. But then Dax starts really turning the screws on Steamboat here and says basically they're bigger legends than he could ever imagine being. It's a great 80s old school heel promo. I loved it. Dax was so good. Isn't it great to hear Dax say something besides I love my wife, I love pro wrestling?
Yes.
Isn't it great that Dax has grown an actual personality? Because he's a great promo when he's motivated, And so Steamboat's like, you know what? You guys are dicks. He doesn't say that exactly, but he's basically you guys are dicks, but you could kick my ass and I'm going to leave. And I love this trope of FTR where somebody's trying to walk away and they pull him into a fucking pile driver. So I think they're going to hit the spike pile driver on Steamboat. I really am Ricky is crazy. He would do it. And that can't be good. And so Brodito run out. They make the save. And I have to applaud AEW. They have done a great job of building this match, which felt kind of random. And my impression was okay, Brodito's going to lose. They've already beaten FTR before. They're going to lose. And it's just a way to get the title back on FTR, which is kind of lame. They've made this feel very personal with Bandito's family and with Ricky, and also Bandito and Ricky Steamboat in the same ring. And Brody, literally, the three most white meat babyface dudes you could possibly put together. What a perfect combination of people.
I teared again.
You were at a fucking great show.
I was.
There was all hits, no misses whatsoever. Joshi, any thoughts?
It was good. I mean, went a little bit too long for me, but I did enjoy it though.
Well, you were tired.
I was tired. Yeah.
And you're pregnant. And you're pregnant tired, which is a different level of tired than I would ever understand. So, with that said, then we started another 50-minute match. So you must have been stoked.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It was a 2.5-hour Dynamite with an overrun. Fucking wild. So we get the men's blood and guts match. And I told you guys, what do you do when you run out of top baby faces? You create some new ones. Mm-hmm. And I think one was created in this match. I really do. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Darby's been in that process for quite some time. I would consider Orange Cassidy a top-level babyface already. He may never win the title, but he doesn't need to. Darby may never win the title. He doesn't need to. They're just as over as you can get, really.
Mm-hmm.
But they did this so well. So instead of Hangman and Hobbs being the cool-down match, the pace of this match was very slow in the beginning. There was no blood for a very long time. And that was so smart because it was a totally different match than the women had had. There was really very little overlap between the two. and the way they were booked. It just wasn't. And things proceed in this kind of orderly fashion. And I thought what was interesting was that the baby faces had won what was that? What were those matches called? The advantage matches, right? And also very smartly, they send Wheeler Yuta out first with Darby. The crowd fucking hates this man in a way that is so irrational and so beyond anything this man could have done to anyone. They hate his hair. I saw people saying they wanted him to get thrown off the top of the cage before the match even started, which is, I did too. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, we hate Wheeler Yuta. This man is hated. And for a while, he didn't know what to do with it. And now he's just playing it up. This guy
looks like an annoying teenager, man.
He does.
And he kind of talks like one, too.
Yeah,
like
and he talks like one.
Yeah. And so they start. Everybody's just hoping kind of that Darby just murders him before the match even gets going. And then the countdown begins and Orange Cassidy comes out. I loved that he put on his glasses, then he takes them off, then he breaks them and uses them like a shank on Wheeler. I love how they play into the history of things. Wheeler turned on Best Friends forever ago, and he's trained by Orange Cassidy. They talk about that on the show all the time. And Jon Moxley retired Chuck Taylor, and Wheeler was a part of that too. So there's tons of history there, and I love that they leaned into it a little bit. So at this point in the match, what are you ladies thinking? Books, why don't you go first?
I think we were, as the crowd and myself, I was just waiting for Yuta to get murdered. We had a lot of fucking Yuta chants going. Just wanted him murdered. I was surprised Orange Cassidy came out second. I thought he would have been last, considering how much he did not want to do that match.
He's the endurance guy, though. His cardio is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
True.
I get very annoyed when people say Orange Cassidy's not a good wrestler. You have to be extremely athletic to be that lazy, have like that kind of like lazy moveset. Because it takes a lot of effort to make it look like you're not doing any like little effort.
Orange Cassidy is one of the best wrestlers in the world currently and has been this entire time. He is absolutely one of the very best in the world. No bullshit. In a very serious moment, he is fucking phenomenal at every aspect of the game. His character work is right there with Tony Storm. You know what I mean? And he's gotten that gimmick over so much that he doesn't even have to say anything, and you can already figure out how he's feeling. That's a magic trick, folks. That is a fucking magic trick. Not everybody can do that. Joshi, how were you feeling by this point?
Yeah, I was also thinking about the pacing. Like, oh, wow, this match is a lot slower than the two previous ones. And when's it going to, I wonder when it's going to pick up. Not that I wasn't into it, but I was just
You're
like...
pregnant tired, though. You're like, come on, guys.
I was just like, oh, yeah, this is pretty slow. And then, of course, I just really wanted somebody to destroy Wheeler Yuta.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, we all did.
Petulant teenager.
Yes.
But yeah, like once Orange Cassidy came out and, broke his glasses and all that, I got really excited. I mean, I love Orange Cassidy. So yeah, it was just interesting how the pacing was so different from the women's.
What's interesting to me is that I don't think I would have picked up on the pacing was different until you guys said something. Because in person, it did not feel different. Again, and I think it's that adrenaline from being there live.
That makes sense, though.
It did not feel like pacing was slower.
Well, and I don't think it was a bad thing. I think it was super smart. Because up until that point, the entire show had been like 1,000,000 miles an hour, And so they used the beginning of the Men's Blood and Guts kind of almost like the cool down that we thought Hangman and Hobbs might be, right? And they got us accustomed to a little slower thing. So when it picked up again, everybody was along for the ride. It was really, really clever how they did this. Joshi, you were talking about your uncle making an appearance, and his handiwork certainly did, because after Daniel Garcia came out, who I thought was kind of selfless in this match in the sense that he didn't get any really big spots, but he helped transition everybody from thing to thing to thing. He was very important to the match, even if he didn't personally get the shine that you might expect. But then Mark Briscoe was supposed to come in. They cut to the back. Renee Paquette is wandering to the back, just trying to get the attention, trying to figure out what's happened to Mark. And Mark's fucked up on the floor. And he's like, ow! Like chicken farmer, screams of pain. And it's revealed, Joshi, that the Don Callis family has attacked him because the Death Riders invited he was doing a favor for the Death Riders, even though on Collision it had been teased that they didn't want any favors. Don Callis saw it otherwise. Joshi, how'd you feel about your uncle's heinous actions?
Very proud. I mean, what do people expect? Mark Briscoe is a freaking stalker. He won't leave Kyle Fletcher alone. He's gotten so many title opportunities at this point. And he still wants another shot at the TNT title. Give it up. Do something else with your time. Go play with your chickens. I mean, really, enough is enough. I thought the Don Callis family was in the right here. Kyle Fletcher, I mean, if I were him, I would report Mark Briscoe to the police, get a restraining order.
He may be the next member of the Don Callis family. Are you going to change your view if he is?
I don't really want him to be part of the Don Callis family, to be honest. But I also don't want him to win the TNT title. And it's not because I don't like Mark Briscoe or anything like that. It's just that Kyle Fletcher has made the TNT title so freaking significant after that title not feeling like a big deal for a few years. Like, let's be honest. I'm not ready for Kyle to lose that belt. And I just don't think Mark Briscoe would fit in to the Don Callis family at all. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm thinking, what did they do with this, man? Like, both options don't really work for me. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I don't know. Unless they do something where Mark Briscoe does join, but like he just never does what Don tells him to do, and that leads to them kicking him out. But I don't know how you both feel, but this one is a hard one for me because, as I said, not ready for Kyle Fletcher's reign as TNT champion to end. I've actually liked it a lot, and I don't remember the last TNT title reign I enjoyed this much. Like, my gosh, I really have to think about that. But at the same time, Mark Briscoe with Don Callis family, I just don't see it. So how do you both feel about this? This is a difficult situation for me.
I think that if Kyle drops the belt, it's because he's going to get a big push up the card. Like, I think that it's moving him towards something bigger. That said, I kind of was looking forward to like a prestige run with the TNT title because unfortunately Danny Garcia, didn't really get an opportunity to do that. Not his fault. And Jack Perry really didn't either.
No.
It was so weird how that title was just kind of pushed down for a long time. But I will say that Mark Briscoe in the Don Callis family could be funny as fuck, honestly. Yeah. Like, him being a total redneck, having to deal with Don, could be hilarious. And Mark not fitting in, he'll still be a baby face, but there's comedic possibilities there. And if he wins, I don't have a problem with Mark being the TNT champion. I just hope big things come for Kyle immediately after, and I think there might have been a change of plans after that match with Hanger at All Out, because Kyle, that match was so good. And I think Kyle might just be moved up, I mean, he's pretty much ready anytime, that's how good he is. So we'll see where it goes. But needless to say, Mark Briscoe did not come out. I thought this was so clever because the babyfaces had the advantage and now they don't again. And so they basically announced it's going to be a 5-on-4 match now, right? And I'm like thinking at this point, like, that's weird to have the heels win both matches. Because traditionally War Games or Blood and Guts is the baby faces win, you know? And I loved the finish of the women's match, but I'm like, really, both of them? And the Death Riders? Like, what's going on with the Death Riders? So Roddy goes, fuck it, I'll go out there. And Roddy comes out. Does Roddy ever do anything that just isn't insanely impressive? Like, this man is a machine. He's just a machine.
I have so much respect for Roddy. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. I love the way he wrestles. He's very hard hitting. I don't think he's ever had a bad match, to be honest. And no, I definitely thought he looked great last night. He always does, though. He's one of those wrestlers, like, I don't know. Like, looking back at, like, let's say, I used to really like the Radicals. I really like Dean Malenko, for example. So he just reminds me of those guys where obviously Eddie Guerrero became a huge deal and Chris Benoit in some ways as well. But like a Dean Malenko, where I just always enjoyed watching him in the ring. And even if he wasn't a world champion, what he managed to do for, the mid-card was exceptionally good.
Mm-hmm.
The mid-card division, so to speak.
And I think comparing Roddy to Dean Malenko is actually a really good comparison. Like, he does remind me of Dean and kind of the way they've been used to, where, he can win or lose and you wouldn't be surprised either way. Eventually, everyone but Briscoe comes out. They close the door. It's 5-on-4. The conglomeration's getting killed. It's a vicious beating. Moxley had come in and stabbed everybody with a fork. Kyle O'Reilly is bleeding like a motherfucker. He's doing the Sky Blue thing, like where he's just like, whoa, like he's bloody.
Wait, I have a quick question. So at some point there was supposed to be another promo, not a promo, but a backstage with Renee. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, that got cut off for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they cut to the back twice. I think they wanted you guys to pop for Briscoe coming in.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So during this whole time now, we have no idea what's happening with Mark Briscoe. So everyone's now having conversations. Is Mark Briscoe actually injured? Is that why we didn't see that backstage segment? Because he's actually injured. Of course, we don't know if you guys saw it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all there live,
Right.
So now we start having conversations about, oh my God, what if it's Swerve? He has issues with the Death Riders.
Right.
Oh my God, the way Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly are getting beat to crap. What if it's Adam Cole?
Well,
oh yeah,
yeah.
That would have been
insane.
Really awesome, but
so I have to say, for at least from the crowd perspective, them not showing us that second backstage one was really good, because it also got the crowd like not just popping for Mark Briscoe to return, but also gave us like what's actually happening, because we had no idea. It started to show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the best part. It started to show for us, and I was like, nope.
Yeah. Well, what I loved about this match as opposed to the others is to the women's Blood and Guts was they teased the doom ending, right? Where it really did look like Moxley was going to bulldog choke Kyle O'Reilly into submission. Like, just he was going to pass out. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, you can't have the Death Riders win this match. Like, come on. And the way that they teased it and then they undid it was so brilliant. The choreography of it all was so well done, with all these people, running in at different times. But essentially, Yuta opens the door. Briscoe starts limping down to the ring, and they end up fighting to the top of the cage, and I just see everybody online saying, throw him off the cage. Like, everybody wants Wheeler Yuta to get thrown off the cage.
Hell yeah.
I was waiting for it the whole time. When I set up the table, I was like, oh, he's going through the table. Did you guys hear our CTE chant?
No.
when Yuta hit Briscoe with the chair on the head. Even though I saw Briscoe's hands go like this.
Yeah.
The crowd started a CTE chant.
So Yuta then takes a J driller on top of the cage. Okay? Like, I'm so glad that they felt confident enough that this thing would not give way, that they were willing to do that, right? But, Mox has stabbed people. Pac and Darby fight to the outside. Darby's getting double teamed. I believe it's Gabe Kidd shows up and attacks Darby. Yeah.
It took all of us a hot second, which I don't think, like, especially in a match like this, you don't realize when these things happen. And all of a sudden I look up, I'm like, it's Gabe fucking Kidd.
And Pac and Gabe drag Darby to the entrance. They climb up a tunnel because they're still fighting each other. Pac gets the better of Darby. Gabe sets up a wood fucking table on the floor. They are on top of a tunnel. Then he lights it on fire. And Pac press slams Darby Allin off the top of a tunnel. So Pac is like, what, 4'8", something like that? So that's adding to the height, right? No, I'm just kidding. He's probably like as tall or taller than me. But Pac has to toss this guy like at least 20 feet with barely a running start because you can't run. You're on top of a fucking tunnel. And Darby takes a bump at the top of a tunnel through a flaming table. He rolls around and you can see his back is on fire. Like, yeah. I'm sure he had some kind of flame retardant stuff on him, but like, what the fuck? Darby's definitely not coming back from that, right? And then they do the doom ending where they tease the end. Moxley has O'Reilly wrapped up in the bulldog choke. He looks like he's going out. He's bleeding like, it would be a heroic loss, if he lost. And I think Claudio's in the corner and he's kind of like taunting O'Reilly because Roderick's out on the other side, like they're surrounded. They stapled Orange Cassidy's hands into his pockets like fucking psychopaths, which is completely physically impossible, but was still funny. And Orange is rolling around with his hands stuck in his pockets. He can't do shit. O'Reilly looks dead to rights. I mean, it's very similar to the end of the first Blood and Guts match. I was like, well, this was really good until now. But Roddy somehow recovers, pushes. Oh, and somebody's taunting O'Reilly, and he has this awesome moment where he makes eye contact, and he goes, fuck you, and he like flips him off. He looked like such a badass in that moment. I got a adrenaline rush just repeating that. But Roddy runs in from the other ring, breaks it up. OC, does the like fucking hardcore thing where he rips his own hands out of his pockets. So he had a staple stuck in him, is the implication. He hits the orange punch on Claudio. He hits the orange punch on Moxley like 3 times. Claudio gets put through a table by Roddy in the corner. People are scattering. Daniel Garcia has been disposed of. And it's just down to Kyle O'Reilly and Jon Moxley. And Moxley's teased being scared of O'Reilly the last few weeks on Collision. And they've wrestled twice, and O'Reilly's he's beat him by countout and by disqualification. So, and you could look at this as the prime opportunity for Moxley to get his win back and kind of, blah, blah, blah. Kind of thought that might happen. O'Reilly puts him in the ankle lock. Moxley turns it into a bulldog choke. It looked really cool. But O'Reilly is a much better grappler than Jon Moxley in kayfabe, right? And O'Reilly turns it into an armbar that he then transitions into a fucking ankle lock. And Mox has to tap. Mox is surrounded and he taps. He knows he's fucked. Holy shit. So when I said they needed to make a new main, potential top guy, I'm talking about Kyle O'Reilly. He looked badass. What'd y'all think of it?
It was perfect. The crowd lost their minds. I don't know if you guys heard on the way as Moxley was walking out, we had a "You tapped out" chant, and he kept giving the crowd, like, he was like getting in the crowd's faces like this. A huge shout out to Jon Moxley because he has played this role perfectly and like knows just when to cross the line with the crowd. Like, because he stood there for like 10 minutes, like at like giving everyone the finger. So, but it was the perfect ending. Like
Joshi,
Kyle O'Reilly, it looks like a star right now. So
he does.
Yeah, well, I mean, a few things. First off, Darby Allin is insane. And I don't think he can be fixed. I think
Boy,
we
is
just
sick.
Yeah, I think we just have to accept that he likes being hurt a lot.
he's not human.
And yeah. So yeah, that freaking flaming table spot was just insane. Probably the craziest part of that match. And yeah, like I feel maybe like 20 minutes in, the pacing really picked up and they did some really cool things. Like I did find it funny that they thought, oh yeah, we're just gonna like staple Orange Cassidy's hands to his pockets. Like, yeah, that's just impossible.
Right.
They managed to make it work for a few minutes there. And Mark Briscoe and Wheeler Yuta at the top of the cage. That was very well done. I do think there were some really cool indicators of what's to come in this match. So everybody expected Jon Moxley to come out last. He didn't. When he came out fourth, I thought, what the hell? That's a sign of things to come, right? It's like, no way would Moxley have come out last a few months ago. So I thought that was really telling. Pac came out last. I've noticed the past few weeks, they've actually let Pac do a lot more talking, which is good because he's excellent on the mic.
He's a great promo.
He's a great promo, and they've presented him as somebody that can actually become the leader of the Death Riders. Like, I've actually been very convinced. So just like these small things where, Moxley came out fourth, Pac came out last. Pac was extremely dominant in this match. Moxley tapped out. And this isn't the first time that Mox has lost in the past couple of months. So he's kind of on a losing streak right now, which is great. It had to happen at some point. You can't protect Moxley forever. And he's putting other wrestlers over, which needed to happen. And I think Kyle O'Reilly making him tap out like that was a huge deal. And they just really need to keep the momentum going, like make sure that you present Kyle O'Reilly as a major star from now on. I mean, he beat freaking Jon Moxley. That is a huge, huge deal. And so, yeah, like I thought it was an excellent match. Everybody looked very good. I liked that it was very different from the women's match. They weren't similar in any way, in my opinion. And just, yeah, like I think now that Mox is actually losing, we're going to see something shift, which is something I've been wanting to see the last few months. So we're finally getting there. And it really took this match to confirm that. And what else can I say? I mean, I guess with Gabe Kidd, I do wonder what the plan is with him because they do like to bring him in quite a bit. So I don't know if he is just not signed to NJPW at this point. If he's going to have one of those AEW New Japan contracts, no idea. I certainly didn't expect him there last night. So no idea what's going to happen with that. But I mean, if AEW and New Japan can share him because New Japan can't sign him full time, then so be it. I mean, that's somebody that you definitely want on your roster, right? So
Yeah. Well, and I think that's what it comes right down to. And I think, some of the New Japan First people would be wise to remember, like, hey, look, if they don't go to AEW, they're just gone.
Yeah.
We've confirmed Okada's going to be wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom this year, and it's almost completely sold out. So that's why, that's why Tony signs these people, is like, you don't lose these people for life, because if they go to WWE, they're never coming back. So, I agree 100%. I think, watching Kyle O'Reilly be so selfless this last year and just be beaten like a fucking drum over and over and over, and then finally get his moment where Mox, of all people, is the guy putting him over, the guy who was just world champion, putting him on that level. That's pretty inspiring, cool shit. And I think Mox is teaching top talent everywhere, especially if you've been heavily protected. There's still money in your downfall. There's still a lot that can be gained by telling a meaningful character arc. And that's what I feel they're doing with Mox. And I applaud him. Moxley has really, in AEW, cemented his reputation as one of the greatest ever. Like, honestly. Like, he's one of the greatest of all time.
Facts.
I have had an absolute blast talking about Blood and Guts. For me, what would you say? I would give this a 10 out of 10 episode. It was absolutely incredible. Really did feel like a 2.5 hour pay-per-view that we got on TV.
Oh, I second that for sure. It felt like a pay-per-view. There wasn't a dull moment. 10 on 10 for me as well.
I agree. And not just because I'm biased, because I was there. Getting to witness that live is something incredible, and it was an A+ show, 10 out of 10. Like, I'm happy they have a year to build towards it next year, because it's going to take a lot to beat this one.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, Books, the people can find you at Books and Bodyslams on TikTok, on Threads, on Blue Sky, on YouTube, kind of. On Instagram?
Kind of, yes.
So, Books and our very good friend Bex Bastet have recently started a new show called the Books and Bex podcast that is a part of Don't Call Me Diva, which is a podcast that Bex created that focuses on women's wrestling. They're fantastic. They're unhinged. They're maniacs, and it's a blast. It's just listening to two very funny, charismatic people go absolutely batshit. Joshi G, it is so good to have you with us today. And I'm so happy for you and Joshi J. Thank you for making the time to be back. Hopefully, we'll have you back for a few more episodes before it's time. But thank you for being here today.
My pleasure.
With all that said, I'm Blade Daly.
I'm Joshi G.
And I'm Books.
Pro wrestling forever.
Sickos Club. Sickos Club.